Hey guys, it's Adam with Carnage Comics and Cards, and we're going to do a video on the special guest spoilers that have hit the interwebs, and we're going to take a look at the arts and what I think of them and what's out there for Bloomburrow. So first up is Ant Queen. She is a 5-cost, tap 2, create a 1/1 green insect creature token, and she's a 5/5. I think this is kind of just whatever. Of all the special guests, this one, the art is sick. I mean, like it's kind of grotesque, but really cool art. Other than that, though, I don't really like this card all that much. It's not bad. It's just not one that I have put in any decks. All right, next up we have Baleful Strix, and I think a lot of people are really excited to see this card. Baleful Strix is in a ton of decks, and this art is amazing. The art's by Maxine Menard, and that the sticks and just the man, it reminds me of a game that I have played. It's Ori and the Wisps, right? Like it's the owl from that game is what it makes me think of, and I definitely will be getting my hands on one of these. All right, next up, probably one of the prettiest Birds of Paradise that they've ever released. A full art, just red bird with the scepter, and Birds of Paradise is in so many decks because it is an awesome card and it's been reprinted to oblivion, but this is one of the best looking ones. Probably not the best, but definitely up there. I'd say it's, top 5. All right, next we are looking at Derevi, Imperial Tactician. Is a bird wizard for Bant, flying when Derevi enters, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may tap or untap target permanent, pay 1 and Bant, and you can put Derevi onto the battlefield from the command zone so you get around commander attacks. It's a 2/3, so it's good. Special guest to have when you're doing bird tribal. So I don't like bird tribal, but I do like a lot of birds. So this is a cool commander if you're into bird tribal. All right, next up is Gilded Goose, and this art is awesome. Like, this is a super excited goose getting a full feast of food, man, and that's exactly what this guy does. For 1 green, it's flying, it's a 0/2, it creates a food. You can tap 2 mana, tap this, and create a food token, and then you can tap it, sacrifice a food, and add 1 mana of any color. So it's a very versatile, very popular card in the historic format and commander format, and I love this art. I like this one. All right. Ink Eyes, Servant of Oni for 4 and 2 black pips, or Ninjutsu, 3 and 2 black pips. When it deals combat damage, you may put target creature card from player's graveyard on the battlefield under your control, and then you can pay 2 to regenerate Ink Eyes. Dude, these rats are sick. Like this art on these rats is all amazing. We're gonna look at a few other ones, but dude, the mask on this, these rats are fearsome. All right, moving on. Ishai, Dragon Speaker. So for 2 and Azorius, you get a flying bird monk. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a 1/1 counter on Ishai, and it also is a partner, so you can partner this with another card with partner and give it another color. I like the art. It's not my favorite, but it is very thematic, and it fits all these cards. It fits what they're going for, the environment and the world and everything about it, and they did a really great job on all these special guests. All right, this is probably my favorite, Karn the Creator. So it's Karn's face on a tree. It reminds me of like Alice in Wonderland, but it's the Planeswalker Karn. Activate abilities of artifacts you control can't be activated. Really good counter to artifact decks. And yeah, this art that's amazing. That truly is amazing. All right, moving on. Next up, we got Kindred Charge, 4 and 2/6. So this is like the other Lynx card. I forget what it was. I've featured it in my other spoiler video. But this is choose a creature type. For each creature you control, the chosen type, create a token. This copy. Those tokens gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. So this is a win con. Basically, you drop this and overrun all your opponents. I really love the art on this. The way that the red cards all have a very unifying theme and color and look. Like this fits that, and really cool special guest. All right, this can be Quain is a really popular commander, so I think this will be a popular card. Pulling a giant strawberry out of a hat, and basically he's a group hug, and it says each player may draw a card, then each player who drew a card this way gains 1 life. Being that Quain is from Bloomburrow, they've retroed that, and I think to have him here makes a lot of sense. Kaikar Wind's Fury. Flying, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1. This is a very popular commander. Sacrifice Spirit, add 1 red. And I think this art's maybe a little bit better than the original. I don't know. The original art's really good. So that's tough, but I do love this full art. If maybe you just pick up another copy if you have one, and after you lose your first one and have to pay commander tax, this is how you track it. You put a different full art in there, and I've seen people do that. Next up, Ledger Shredder. Ledger Shredder is another great looking card. However, this one I think is a little bit better for 2. Whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, Ledger Shredder connives. What is connive? Connive is draw a card, then discard a card. If you discard a non-land card, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So Ledger Shredder, a commander staple, a card that I've talked about when talking about birds. I think he's one of the best birds you can get, and this should bring down the price of it. So awesome art. Love the card. Next up, Luminous Broodmoth. This is actually one of my least favorite cards. No, not least favorite, but it is really good, and it has to be dealt with when it hits the field. Otherwise, there's some really broken combos that can happen with this. So it's flying. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, returns to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. And yeah, that's the card. 3/4. All right, here's this one's sick. Maronar, who's actually a very expensive card, so glad to see a reprint. Hope that these are significant reprints. But all rats have fear. Sacrifice a rat, create X 1/1 black rat creature tokens where X is the number of rats you control. This goes crazy if it's left on the board long enough and you get enough rats out. I know a lot of people are going to be upgrading their Maronar for this guy because this is much better art than the original. Not that the original is bad, but this is awesome. All the rats are awesome. All right, next up, Narset Parter of Veils, 1 and 2 blue pips. This is just a Planeswalker card that's like the others, and it is what it is. There it is on the thing. I'm not a big fan of playing this card, but I do like the art, and I think it fits kind of the look of the original. I'll put the original up here too, so you guys can kind of compare the two. Next up, Rat Colony. Love this. Rat Colony gets +1/+0 for each other rat you control. A deck can have any number of cards named Rat Colony. This is a great thematic looking piece of art here. Full art right there. Awesome. Next up, Relentless Rats. Relentless Rats gets +1/+1 for each other creature on the battlefield named Relentless Rats. A deck can have any number of cards named Relentless Rats. So a lot like Rat Colony, just a little bit different. And this one I think is even better. This one, the rat looks very intimidating. All right, next up is Squirrel Mob. Squirrel Mob gets +1/+1 for each other squirrel on the battlefield. I think this is a really popular card in Maronar. Or not Maronar, sorry, Chatterfang, and just a really great squirrel card. And now you got a full art for it. All right, next up is Swords to Plowshare. Exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. I think if you're playing a lot of cards from Bloomburrow, you're going to want this if you're playing in white. Same thing with Sylvan Tutor. I like that we got a reprint of Sylvan Tutor because this card can be really expensive, so this should bring down the price a little bit. Teferi Time Traveler. Here you go, another a Teferi. So here's the original, and here's the new one. Now we have the big bad monster himself, the Gitrog. He's Death Touch 6/6 for 5. If you don't know this card, you haven't played against this card. The art on this is fantastic, and it is terrifying, and just the way the card plays. So I love this full art on this, and man, I hope I'm lucky enough to open one. Oh, now I love this one. This one, I have a Toski, so I in one of my decks, so I really want this. This is really cool. Toski, Bearer of Secrets. Spell can't be countered. Indestructible when it attacks each combat, or has to attack each combat, and then whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So it's a 1/1. Awesome squirrel. Can go in decks other than squirrel decks, and yeah. So that's it. That's all of these special guests. Hope you guys like the art. I love the art on all of these, and I'm really excited. Looking forward to this set coming out in a couple weeks. Thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.